this niche just wasn't it. And this time I'm taking a different approach, and I just want to share what I'm doing with you. There's usually this stigma where nobody really says what their niche is in YouTube automation, but I don't really care at this point, and so it's basically the rise and falls of different YouTubers, although I'm taking a slightly different approach. An inspiration from SunnyV2, Patrick CC, and Internet Anarchist. Other channels I'm taking inspiration from too would be Jake Tran, How Many Works, and Magnates Media, although those three are a little bit too much high production for me to start off with. And the different route I'm taking is actually not even YouTube automation at all. It's just going to be a faceless channel, and so that's literally where I'm going to go ahead and start doing everything, all the way from the research to the writing to the voiceover to the editing to the thumbnail to the posting to everything. So basically just running a regular channel at first. And the reason I'm doing this is for two reasons. First reason is to actually know what I'm doing, and if I know what I'm doing, I can go ahead and eventually teach it to other freelancers. Second reason is I get to save a little bit of money, and I have the time to go ahead and do it now. And that's not going to be forever. I know eventually I'm going to go ahead and outsource each parts, but just right now for the beginning, it's just me. The things I had the most trouble with would be the actual script writing, because naturally I'm not a good script writer, at least that's what I tell myself. And so after getting out of my head, stopping the negative thinking, I just went ahead and finally started doing it and did it. Even though the first script took me about 3 weeks to finish because of procrastination, I still ended up finishing it. And then 2 days later, I ended up editing the video and then posting it. And then so for my second video, I felt a little bit better because I knew at least what the process was for like how I like to do my research and then how I like to do the scripts. After that, it took me 1 day to go ahead and do that full script. And mind you, it was pretty surface level things. And the way I'm approaching all this is mostly by research. Instead of seeing what everybody else is doing, I'm choosing different types of people, at least at first. And I know this might be not the best idea because normally you should use what works, but I'm leveraging on different types of people that haven't really been talked about that are still relevant, but they're not like trending now. I know it'll work in the long term, and I'll eventually change the strategy to do more trending things, but for the moment, I think I'm gonna stick with this. Yeah, you can kind of disregard what I said right there because I kind of am using trends right now, and I think you know who I'm talking about. I think one of the most important things that's going on now is going to be the actual script writing and how I do the research. And basically it comes down to a few things. The first one being finding the person that I want to make a video on. Second one being seeing how I want to go ahead and put that topic into play. And the only way I can do that is by listening to several podcasts, usually 2, maybe 3 podcasts, and then just condensing the information into a whatever minute video long I can make it. It's not so much analysis of the person, but it's more so like their whole story of it. And so I'm playing this podcast at 1.5 times speed and simultaneously writing down these notes. And it'll take me maybe like 3, maybe 4 hours. Not all at once, I'll do it separately just because I can't sit through that whole thing and just constantly type. So I'll take multiple breaks for that. But once that's go ahead and done, I'll go ahead and just listen to another podcast, kind of do the same thing, go ahead and look at different videos. And so I found usually 3, maybe 4 different videos. And then just go ahead and take some notes on that. And after I have the whole picture of it, that's when I'll go ahead and start putting the story together. And that was the hard part that I did. That's how I procrastinated the first time for like 3 weeks until I was able to do it. But little by little, I was able to put the script together. And so now I have a general format on how I want to do it. And so I think the hardest part now is the introduction, because without the intro, you don't really know what story you want to go ahead and do. You don't want to know what way you want to go ahead and narrate it. And so that's still what I'm working on now. But I'll know it'll get better soon, because what I realized is the story works, but you have to have an interesting spin on it. It can't just be like the full story of yada yada. There's got to be something more to it, more interesting, and putting that interesting thing in the beginning, telling the story of it, and then at the end, tying it all together, how that thing went into play. That's what'll go ahead and make a good story. And so that's still something I'm working on, but I'm getting better. But yeah, that's basically a quick plan of what I'm doing. And then something else I'm also incorporating is also using a little bit of AI in the scripts. And it's going to be a little bit of a different way. And if you're interested in seeing how I'm doing that, make sure to go ahead and watch this video over here. Also, don't forget to subscribe.